Let's talk about the 2021, shall we? The pressing question is the 2021 easier? Is it gonna get easier as we move to the new year of 2021? So is it even a new beginning? Is it even a new energy, a new year, a new dynamics? Because if we divide time to 2020 and 2021, it doesn't necessarily mean that time is truly divided. It doesn't mean that we are starting fresh. It's the same way when we draw borders on the map. It doesn't really divide the land into countries. This division is only in our mind. When we divide time and we divide space, it is merely a concept. So are we truly going into a shift? Are we starting a new beginning, a new way? The answer is yes, but not because in January 1st, 2021, something will shift, but because on December 21st, 22nd, something major will shift. First, as you know, we have the winter solstice at that time, the beginning of a new season. In astrology, we have this end and start, and they are marked by the seasons. So when the sun enters Aries in March, and March 21st, the spring begins, the fresh start. This is the real astrological new year. Then, as you know, on June 21st, we have the summer solstice, and that is when the sun enters Cancer. And then in September 22nd, we have the sun entering Libra, and the fall begins. And then we have the winter solstice on December 21st or 22nd, when the sun enters Capricorn, the winter season. So we already have a new beginning, a natural shift, and that is the winter solstice. Yet, just one day after, Jupiter and Saturn will meet in Aquarius at 0 degree and 30 minutes. This is like the first degree of Aquarius. In astrology, when we speak about the first degrees, we're talking about very critical degrees, meaning a very powerful energy. Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto have been in Capricorn for the last year. I mean, some of them for more than this, but the stellium is the placement of many planets in the same sign. This is what we call stellium. So Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto have been forming a stellium in Capricorn for the last year, shaping the 2020 in the way it unfolded. Meaning that when Jupiter and Saturn leave Capricorn and enter into Aquarius in December 2020, they will surely release this extremely heavy energy that has been activated in Capricorn. Capricorn is heavy. Why? Because it is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the karmic planet, the lord of time, the taskmaster, the responsibilities, the growing up, the you get what you deserve, the teacher, the structure, the foundation, the heavy planet. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, meaning that it holds and transmits such intense structural energy. And this is why having so many planets, heavy planets such as Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn conjuncting have created the 2020. So Jupiter and Saturn will leave Capricorn finally and conjunct in Aquarius in December 2020. Conjunction meaning that two planets meet from our perspective on Earth. And because it is in Aquarius, it is considered to be the true launching of the Aquarius age, And this shifting of energy from the heavy Capricornian is happening to an air sign, which is Aquarius. Let's talk a little bit about Aquarius, so we know what kind of energy is being activated by this grand conjunction. Aquarius is a very contradictory sign. It is a sign of the uniqueness, the individual expression. It's this alien-like, very unique expression, but also very humanitarian. Also, it's about the care for humanity, for the community. It is also a progressive sign, the sign that is concerned about the future, the sign that is concerned about the whole, the sign that is concerned about the next generation. It is a sign of revolution, but also it is a sign of dictatorship, being a dictator. You know why? Because I want to change the way of humanity, because I'm progressive, I'm revolutionary, but it will be my way, only my way. That's what a dictator is. So we have those, like, the good aspect and the positive aspect and the negative aspect of the Aquarius sign. Also, Aquarius is a sign of technological advancement, the new ways, technology, Now, having said all that, I want to focus on what will unfold in the 2021, okay? Now we have this conjunction, which is will launch a new era, not only for the 2021, but also for the next 30 years or more. In the 2021, we also have Saturn in Aquarius. So take note with that. Saturn in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So Saturn in Aquarius will square Uranus, that is the ruler of Aquarius. Now, when we talk about a square, we're talking about a 90-degree angle between two planets from our perspective on Earth. And a 90-degree angle is a conflicted angle. The communication is forming a square. There is conflict, but a conflict that promises a resolution, a creative resolution. We're talking about Saturn and Uranus. Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus. Now, what I want to mention is what we call the synodic cycle between two planets. Write this down. A synodic cycle is when two planets meet until they meet again. Okay? Very simple. When two planets meet until they meet again, this is called a synodic cycle. Uranus and Saturn met in 1988 in Sagittarius. And it takes 45 years until they meet again, and 45 give and take. In 2032, in the year 2032 in Gemini, ending what we call the synodic cycle. So they meet in 1988 until they meet again in 2032, and that's what is called a synodic cycle. Okay? Now, I'm saying that, why I'm telling you this? Because in 2021, when Saturn forms a square with Uranus, this implies that we have entered the last quarter of the synodic cycle. So the last quarter will form a 90-degree. We have entered into the last quarter of the synodic cycle. The last quarter is very important. And we have already had a taste of that in January throughout April, when Saturn briefly entered Aquarius, then retrograded back into Capricorn. What happened between January and April? The declaration of the virus, the lockdown. What did we feel? How did we feel? We felt like this is the end of times. We felt like we are in the middle of an apocalypse event. Why? When the synodic cycle between Uranus and Saturn enters its last quarter, we cannot see a future. This is why it feels like the end of time. This is the end of a cycle. And we are not able to see a future. So we say it is an apocalypse event. This is not the end, not even close. This is merely the end of a cycle. How do you end a cycle? How do you end a whole cycle, a whole pattern that involves the revolutionary Uranus and the establishment planet Saturn? How do you end this? You bring a revolution against the establishment. That's the 2021. A revolution against the old structure, the establishment, but also a revolution in technology, in communication, in advancement, in finances. Uranus now is in Taurus. Taurus is the sign of what we value, you know. Uranus is the planet of change. Uranus in Taurus, changing what we value. This is the end of the Kardashians era. Because we are changing what we value. Now we start valuing humanitarian influencers. We value who brings value to others. Taurus is an earth sign, so we value earth now more. We value the environment, what's true, what's natural. Taurus also rules the finances. So the whole financial system will change. Those are changes that will carve a new direction for humanity, but not without a crisis. Why? Because of the square, the hard angle between Saturn, the old establishment that is fighting for its survival, my way, my old ways, and the revolutionary Uranus that is wanting the new way, a better way for humanity. This angle is a conflicted angle between the patriarchy, the old, and between the new. It is a battle between old and new, but with creative resolutions, with creative breakthroughs. So, is 2021 easier than 2020? Yes and no. Why? Because usually people resist the change, and this will make it challenging. And what occurred in 2020 are not fleeting events, are not momentary events, but events that will reshape our worlds permanently. Nothing will return to the old normal. But do we want the old normal? We need to embrace the change. 2021 will be the beginning year of a new era.